Okay, what is in store for you and the world in the coming week or so? Let's see what the energy is like. Thank you, my loves. I've got two open at the same time, and that's part of why I think I get a weak signal. I'm wondering, do you think if I opened with Safari, it would make my other signal on Chrome stronger? What do you guys think? Do you think that would work? I'm just curious. Because I think one of the reasons why my signal gets weak is because I've got two things open at the same time. So I'm going to close this. And then I'm going to open this one and see. I just can see your questions better if I have the actual YouTube open. And then I can pin them, which I can't do with the restream. And okay. Oh, yeah. See, that did help, didn't it? That improved it, didn't it? Did that improve it, or was it okay before? I think that we may have had a solution is to just have one of my streams be through Chrome and one be through Safari. There you go. Watch Whimsy learn. Watch a Luddite learn. All right. What is in store for the world this week? Let's take a look. Great to see you all. If you could like and subscribe to the stream, I'd be most appreciated. We are so close to 100K, and then I get to have a little present from YouTube, and that's going to be so much fun. Yeah, I get my ego stroked. It's so pathetic, I know. I'm so cool. I got 100,000 subscribers. All right. Now is the time for deep meditation. Listen, like last night when I was trying to meditate, trying to imagine that I was like a Carmelite nun. I was being guided by the Carmelites last night to just kind of go inward. And then I was thinking about also like the Sikh, the Wahi Guru, the inner heart, and try and detach from all this. Is too much news. It's too much. The base card is the Hierophant, the higher ethos. And Four of Swords is a retreat. It's to care for oneself. I might be getting this right now because I've been a little run down. But to guard the self, or also, it's a deep meditative card. So we have this kind of spiritual ethos and this deep meditation that it's talking about. Have people been meditating more lately, less lately? How's your meditation practice been, everybody? You've been feeling like you're tired and you just want to close your eyes and rest? Sorry, I just want to take this over here so you can see the cards a little better. Because it could be that part of what's going on is that you're just energetically exhausted. And when we're energetically exhausted, then we get this kind of, needing to meditate, needing to recharge. I know that's definitely like I've got all this stuff going on with me right now. So, thank you, Whip Shiva. So just make sure you're recharging and taking care of yourself. Where you're at right now, looking to the horizon, instead of, oh my God, all your energy is being wasted. What's Trump going to do tomorrow? What's so-and-so going to do? I want you to think more like RBG. Is that right? Yeah, RBG, which is getting control of your life, just like the rabbi that didn't know there was a war going on, and because he was just, I don't want you to be that unplugged, but the idea here is that they want you to have like a plan for your life, particularly over the next 3 months. So they're saying to you, plan for tomorrow, look beyond the horizon, build a foundation. But what are you going to be doing for the next 3 months? Like, I know what I'm planning to do for the next 3 months. Like, I know I'll be in Israel next month trying to learn about peace zones. I have much I need to learn. I don't understand a lot about how peace zones work, right? So the next 3 months is Whimsy getting educated, I'm visiting peace zones so that they can teach me how the heck are we going to make this happen, right? So I already have I'm in my prayer and resting because I got the flu, right? I got the COVID, but I'm also Three of Wands pulling back from. I don't spend a lot of time being manipulated to watch people's news that the world is ending every 5 seconds. Instead, your energy should be concentrated on self-care, meditation, and what are you going to be doing the next 3 months to try and make sure less children are dying all over the world, whether it's from famine because they didn't get their US aid peanut butter, right? These children have starved to death. We showed you a picture of a kid that died Thursday. Find the problem and then do your part to personally take care of it. We cannot sit around waiting for Hamas to do the right thing while children die back and forth. If we can't wait for Egypt to do the right thing and open the gate, don't trap these children anymore in this hellhole. No, they're not going to open the gate. And the same is true for whatever's going on in your personal life. Don't wait for him, her, they to do the right thing. Do you think they'll call? Do you think they'll pay me back? Do you think don't ever be at the mercy of somebody else to do the right thing, particularly if they haven't in the past. That's what RBG was talking about. You see a problem, the child, well, that's not our fault, so-and-so did this. A child needs an IV fluid, electrolytes, and some antiparasitics right now, or the child's going to die. I don't give a fuck who's blaming who. Everybody wants to blame the other instead of dealing with the acute crisis, right? So Three of Wands is what can you do personally rather than blaming or sitting about waiting for somebody else to fix the problem, to pick up a broom and take care of it now, because there are crises everywhere. What can you do right now? Where are there crises that you personally can help? And do you need to rest? Like me being exhausted, right? But my point is that the next 3 months, everyone is to build something that thinks beyond the rainbow. Three of Wands is about waiting for your ship to come in. But the dark aspect, every card has a dark aspect. So what do you think the dark aspect of Three of Wands is? If you're a reader. Procrastination. Waiting for Joe Biden to fix it, waiting for Trump to fix it, waiting for Netanyahu to fix it, waiting for El-Sisi to open the gate, waiting for Putin to not be insane, right? Instead of what can I do? Well, how can I get involved? Because we can't be at the mercy of hoping that people who have historically done us wrong will eventually get with the program. You must do it yourself. That is the message of RBG. Don't wait for him to buy you that car or pay your credit cards off or pay you back or do right by you with the inheritance or all of the other things that you feel, or pay you back after he defrauded you. How many of us have been defrauded, ripped off? Well, of course they're not going to pay you back. Do fraudsters pay people back? So Three of Wands has a dark aspect. The person is sitting there waiting. I'm waiting, right? And The positive aspects are you're not waiting and you're doing it yourself. What is crossing you at this time is there's fighting. God, I'll swear I'll find the picture of the rabbi. This person has their back to the fighting and they're off looking at their own. What do I got to do over the next 3 months to make sure that this particular problem is dealt with? That's it. You put your back to they're fighting and they want you to be part of the fight because from a Buddhist perspective, right? Who is the truly angry person? If you look at this from a Buddhist perspective, hi Nadia, I just saw you there. Hi, Nadia Donella. Hi. From a Buddhist perspective, who is the angriest person in the room? The person that eggs on the fight and then sits back and smiles and said, this is a good fight. Yeah, this is a good fight. So the British did that during the British occupation of Palestine, right? Hey, those Jews are killing Arabs in Hebron. Wasn't true. They just wanted the Arabs to kill the Jews. So they spread a false rumor. And then they went over to Hebron. Well, they're killing Jews in Jerusalem. They tried to stir things up because what was happening in Palestine before the British? We were building kibbutzes, we were building communities, and we were becoming united. And what was wrong with that? We were getting organized against the British and we were going to kick them out and we were going to build Palestine and we were all going to be free and happy and we were going to live in big kibbutzes as organized socialist Democrats. And Bernie Sanders' family showed up and all these cool hippies and it started working. Well, that's not going to work. So the British started rumors to get us to kill each other, right? And to get them to, well, unfortunately, he drove them into the arms of the Nazis, right? Basically. So by doing that, what the British actually did was they created more Nazis. So they inevitably created more of a problem for themselves, right? Because they went off to create allies that were not, the Jews were going to align with the British, right? So it was all created by the British. So what do we know? We know that the British were an incredibly angry and continue to be an incredibly angry society that engaged in hegemony all over the world through divide and conquer. And that sadly, am I frozen? And that sadly, those policies continue. They continue in Israel, etc., rather than thinking in terms of unity, right? Which would build up the state. You don't want people organizing against you. But the problem is that now it's not appropriate. Now people are organizing against the state and the state cannot stand. So we've got to switch it around. It shouldn't be dog eat dog. It should be unity. Same is happening here in the United States. 5 of Wands. Fighting is over you. Look to what you can build, not what you can deconstruct. There are people that want you to fight. I know them because I'm kind of like them myself. You know, I know what it's like to be Elon Musk. I like to fight. I like to fight and punch and wrestle. I'm an Aries, right? But I'm also a responsible adult who understands that I can get that out of my system by playing chess on chess.com, right? You know, that's my little thing that I'm into right now, right? Is I got to beat that computer, right? Move away from the fighting. Oh, it was choppy. I apologize for that. I apologize, darlings. We live in a retro world. What can I say? What is above us is domination or the emperor, or we have this ruler above us. You know, we also, what is above us though, is our higher ethos, our ability to think before we act. If we're just talking about the emperor as an archetype that, and by the way, a great place for it to be is the 4th house, because the 4th house is associated with your brain and your higher ethos. So the idea that the emperor sits in the 4th house is really auspicious for you. It means that you're thinking right. You've got control of your brain, honey. You may see the fighting. it may be completely exhausting, but if you take a look at your cards, what they're saying is go with God, go with your higher ethics, that which you know to be true, not what they're telling you on the news, because they lie to manipulate you. Just what you can see with your own eyes. Is there somebody who needs to eat? Is there somebody? Go with your own ethos, and Four Swords, rest and go inward. Then you see the first house, Three of Wands, waiting for something. Three of Wands is 3 months, building something, waiting for your ship to come on in. What can you manifest that's going to allow your ship to come in the next 3 months? That's what you should be thinking. Turn your back to what is over you, the conflict, the fighting, all this. I like Midas touch, but I can't listen to them constantly trying to egg on the fighting. It's not helping. It's only making people angry. How can we move away from anger and fighting, but just inform? This is why I am voting for Democrats. This is why we need to change the House, right? Without all of this need for this Five of Wands conflict, which is making us sick and dividing us in ways that are dangerous. What we sit in is the Fool. Many of you are about to go on some big adventure. There's this big adventure that's coming. Like the Fool takes a leap of faith the next 3 months. Wait, and that your ship is coming in. What is behind you is health challenges. Maybe you weren't feeling well. Maybe you got COVID like I did. Maybe you were depressed and exhausted, but you've had some health challenges that have probably kept your energy low and kept you from doing everything you wanted to do. And regarding those health issues, Two of Wands, build healthy daily habits. Two of Wands is about partnerships and your relationship to the environment. So we are in our environment. It's like, how do you create a terrorist? You create an environment that produces a terrorist. How do you create somebody that's not a terrorist? You put them in an environment where they don't have the opportunity to learn to be a terrorist, a safe zone, a peace zone, right? So it's not that they're a malak and that you read in the Torah. No, it's entirely environmental. That's how you become a terrorist. All right, so Two of Wands is about environmental anthropology, in a sense that it's how you engage in your environment and the partnerships. It has to do with importing and exporting in our partnerships. And I think the fact that it's aligned for you with this Emperor card would tell me, seek rational people in your life. The fact that your mind is getting rational, that you're seeing past the BS, that you're seeing that everybody is trying to get everybody to fight, and you just want to get people to oasis. We can agree to disagree. Plant a tree, create beauty in the world. And how can I be a part of that? Because people are starting to become very rational. And there are people who are going to go broke if they can't get everybody to fight. And people are just we have to change our rhythm up. Two of Wands is about a new partnership that sustains you and the other. So it's also, if you look at some books on the Tarot, it'll talk about a symbiotic relationship, which is also what Oasis is. If you have a kibbutz, everyone owns a piece of the land. And so if the kibbutz succeeds, it's your success. If it fails, it's your failure. Two of Wands is that great symbiotic partnership of equals that Webb Shiva was talking about. We want to respect the host country, but we also want everybody to be treated with equality and respect, which is basically democratic socialism, right? And that was the ideal that threatened the colonialists, right? So how can we do this in a way that's going to be less threatening and works with those host countries and puts an end to this madness? And it's really quite a dance, right? Of the country doesn't want to be threatened. You're bringing these people in to do what? No, they'll sign. They are here to support your country. So if you invited them into a country that desperately needed construction workers, it would be all for one and one for all, and let's get together and let's build something great, which is what happened in Indonesia. They needed people, and they are now building a safe zone. But why should it just be Indonesia? We should all be building these places. So that wonderful partnership is coming in for all of us, and you yourself are a safe zone, right? Where we are at right now, Six of Cups, get back to the garden, go back to that which you love, explore your own childhood, learn how to play again. God wants us to play again. Talks about Abraham Avinu and Sarah. Abraham and Sarah used to play, man and woman. Him and his wife, they were always playing and laughing. People used to spy on them because they were laughing all the time. Like, are you sure you're married to her? There are references like that in the Bible that they were so happy that people are like, what is that about? But it's very important for our mental health to be able to play. And just like Avraham Avinu was able to, he understood that it was very important to be like a child and play. That he and his wife would play. They probably had pillow fights and giggled and made love, and he ate her delicious food, and they had a truly wonderful life together. And they got back to the garden. They got back to the garden. That is what the guidance is. Back to the basics. Back to the kibbutz. Back to equality and respect. And the simple things of life. Be like a child. Learn to play again. Play fair. The opposition to this process at this time is poverty, both environmental poverty, because, when there's political problems, what often happens is that the poor wind up living in the trash heaps, right? So we have this opposition, which is this bleak, dark poverty, being locked out of the church, spiritual exile. How can we use our faith, whether it's as a Jew, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu, Muslim, how can we open the door just a bit to make the other feel loved and more included? Be kind to the foreigner, for you too were once a foreigner. Be kind to the stranger, for you too were once a stranger. Be kind to the foreigner, for you too were once a foreigner. Be kind to those who have been locked out, the destitute, right? You too were once locked out and destitute. These are all ways, opportunities that we can create safe places for others. But it is the opposition, not feeling that we don't have enough. What existing space can we make a pot of soup and bring it to somebody? The hope and fear at this time is that we want diplomats. We can all be a diplomat. We can all come bringing offerings of peace. And do not underestimate how that vibration that you are putting out into the world through your prayers, this Passover and Ramadan, through your good deeds, whether it's as a proud Yoruba or a Sikh or Muslim or whatever you're, or atheist. We have a lot of atheists here. Just somebody who understands that if this planet is going to continue to survive, we have to change course. And so that is the hope of the Knight of Cups, which often is seen as the diplomat's card, who brings the elixir, who brings the messages of peace. The final outcome for us at this time of week is gaslighting, lying, corruption, stealing of coin, not knowing where money is gone off to, deception in terms of coin. So be careful with your bank account, making sure no one steals. You might want to change passwords at this time. There's an energy here of hacking, energy here that we are vulnerable in the coming days to theft and hackings and things of this nature. The clarification is a new beginning comes for us in April. The opposition continues to grieve. Either the garden has to start with you. That's the answer. I was watching an interview with a guy, Bill Maher, who said, the purpose is to get our friends off earth because there's no hope. And I thought, wow, you need to speak to some rabbis. to some Kabbalists, we have to complete the work. We're here to complete the work as bodhisattvas of the earth, as we are here to make this world heaven on earth. Then we can talk about leaving. But until that's done, we're in this matrix together. And it's as simple as choosing to create peace within ourselves and sharing it with others until the jerks realize that no one's going to invite them to the party. It's our party. And if you know anybody that's creating an ayahuasca retreat, or tell them to think about extending it into a kibbutz and creating homes for laborers. Take this vow that you will respect the government. We're not going to be committing human sacrifices in Costa Rica, right? Like if, say, for example, you were to build a commune. I know people that are doing it in Costa Rica, so I use that as an example. They're just extending it from their ayahuasca ceremony so that people, and particularly indigenous peoples, have a place to live because they've been disenfranchised, so that they will have homes, etc., in Costa Rica, etc. They also don't want to remove parts of the forest. So there's a lot going on spiritually in that part of the world. Find a community where you can help, because now the world is entering into the time of commune, where everyone is running. They're running into oasis. So find yours in yourself and either build one or find one. Be strong and of good courage. Right? Is that in Joshua? Is that Joshua? Be strong and of good courage. Right? So the Queen of Wands is, I seek justice, absolute, boom, boom, my way or the highway. She is the gypsy. She was inspired by gypsy imagery by the artist. She stands on her 2 feet by 2 feet board. Is that what they have? And she does her flamenco, and that is traditionally how it was performed. So as a statement that this is all the land that I have, because I am a Roman, I am a gypsy. So, and yet she stomps her feet. This little place is mine, and I will not give it up. So there is a fierce knowing and a fight that exists in the Queen of Wands, that she is willing to pull up her wrist, like pull and get down and into the dirt, like that settler, like Golda Meir, and build that utopia for everyone, right? And then the final outcome for us is the old ways are gone and the new ways are emerging. There's a battle coming. April is intense. Let's all be on the right side of history by creating love, by creating safe zones in our heart, and giving it out to the rest of the world. Avoid gossip and speaking ill of others, even those you may have strife with, because it only promotes more distension in the world, which ultimately culminates in a toxic energy that hurts all of us. It's difficult to do, but we have to really watch our language and the way we interact and try and just be a force for the good. If you see an injustice in the world, get involved and see, not shouting and screaming like a lunatic. How can I get food and shelter to these individuals that need it as quickly as possible and as respectfully as possible? Reach out to the countries of the world and say, can we get these people to shelter? Do we have safe harbor? Also, please include prayers every day for the hostages. If they believe we have 54 hostages, many of them are already dead in Gaza. Their poor families have been driven mad seeing the film footage of their beautiful children being tortured. And we just want this madness to end. It's evil beyond comprehension, and it's not the world that any of us should tolerate. Okay.